over the Sun Valley Citizens Advisory Board for January 4th, 2025. So this is called to order and determination of quorum. Andy?
Michael Ryder,
Here.
Heidi Soper, Amy Owens, Mary Esposito is absent, Veronica Cortez. You have a quorum.
All right, we're going to pledge allegiance. Heidi, can I give you the?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, just before we start, the next item, which is public comment, I wanted to thank Danita Thomas for her time on the board. She moved out of the area, went over to Spanish Springs. Hopefully she'll get a half position of it. And then welcome Veronica Cortez, which is our new CAB member, and I believe she lives in District 5. And we'll have her introduce herself in the board comments right now. So the next item is item number 2. Item number 3, general public comment. Do we have any public comment this morning for the first round? We do this twice. So come on up. What you do is take the mic, state your name, and say your piece. There we go.
I just wanted to come up here and introduce myself. I'm Jesus Lopez. I've been part of the community for about 2 years now, so it's my first CAB meeting, so nice to meet you all. You've all been very kind so far and very receptive, so I feel very welcome. Thank you. And for my line of work, I'm in I'm an insurance broker, so I help businesses put together employee benefits to attract high level employees. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, who wants to go next? There you go.
Good morning, Carmen Ortiz for the record, former CAB chair. So I attended the CAB reimagination meeting with Carol. It was on December 19th, so I can imagine most of you guys weren't available to go, being that was right before Christmas and all. But it was really great because what they did was they took people like me and Carol, who have been involved in our community for the last 10 years, and they put us in a room with people that have been involved in their community for the last 30 years. So when you combine our experience, it was really incredible. And one of the things that was the most important takeaway was I sat with a woman who was on the planning commission. And she said back in the days when the CABs used to see developers and notes would be taken and given back to the county commissioners and the planning department, they would read those notes before they would go and vote on anything in any community. That's gone now. So they put us in little groups, called us a cafe, and had us talk about issues like describe what Washoe County's new engagement process looks like. And one of the people at our table said, if I ask for a presentation from a Washoe County staff member, I want the presenter to present. If the people are asking, give them what they want. Someone else at our table said, we want to be reviewing developments at every stage from application to completion. We want the information to go back to the Planning Commission, the Board of Adjustments, and the county commissioners. Someone else said, nobody knows better what the community wants besides the community. And then one of the champions for our seniors, Donna Klontz, she recently wrote an article, it's in the Senior Spectrum, about how important the CABs are, and she even published the dates. So now that we're meeting consistently again, the schedule is available for the seniors, and that's my passion, is to reach the seniors in Sun Valley that don't have computer access. And now that it's in the Senior Spectrum, I feel like we can reach a larger audience. So anyway, those notes are going to come out. Please read them because the experience in that room they had to pull out more chairs. It was packed. So I wanted to share that with you, and thank you guys for being here for your community.
All right, any other public comments on this first round?
I don't know if it should be a public comment or not.
You're gonna speak at the public comment.
Mark Newman for the record. I hope you all had a great Christmas and a good New Year. I'm a very advocate for our seniors within our community. And to our county commissioners, this is the proof that they send to our seniors at our senior centers.
Oh, that.
No, I just wanted to show you guys that. It was, I get calls. I know you guys don't probably as many as I do, because I'm very involved within our community and our seniors, and I'm on the seniors of Citizens Advisory Board for Washington County. Thank you for both appointing me to that position. So I get a lot of the calls. I'm just letting you know that's what I get. Thank you.
Anyone else on the first round? There will be another public comment at the end of the meeting for those that still have something they want to say. They want to wait till the end. Anyone else? Okay, we're gonna move on then to item number 4, approval of minutes for the meeting on December 7th, 2024. Make a motion with the amendment involved.
Okay, I move that we amend the minutes where it says Cheryl Burns asked Mike O'Brien to Carol Burns, who asked Mike O'Brien. And otherwise, that was the only change we needed to make.
Anything with the approval.
Yes.
And that's
So I-
Heidi
I
Soper.
would-
That change.
With that change.
Okay, we have a,
Who seconded? Amy.
Amy did. We have a motion and a second. Any comments from anybody else? Seeing none, we'll take the vote. All those in favor? Aye. I believe that was unanimous, so there isn't any dissenting votes. Motion carries. That takes care of those minutes. Okay. And we're gonna move on to item number 5, which will be the public safety updates. Which one of you guys wants to go first? Sheriff's Department or Fire Department?
Flip the coins.
All right, Fire Department's up first.
Good morning, Sam Hicks, one of the duty battalion chiefs here in Sun Valley.
I guess he's loud enough. You can hear him, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Some stats for both December and the year total. We had 3 fire calls, 206 EMS calls, 13 motor vehicle accidents, 5 hazmats, 18 public assists, 23 good intent calls, 3 false alarms. So for a total of 271 calls in December here in Sun Valley. For the year, we had 80 fire calls, 2,083 EMS calls, 165 motor vehicle accidents, 49 hazmat, 164 public assists, 346 good intent calls, 51 false alarm, and 1 other call, for a total of 2,941 calls in Sun Valley for 2024. Burning season is
Car accidents in the year again, that number?
165. Not that it affects Sun Valley, but burning is closed for the year. It closed last Tuesday, I believe. It may open back up in April. Again, it doesn't affect Sun Valley because they're less than 1 acre lots here, and they're in the different hydrographic basin. Chief Moore is retiring in this month, the 25th, I believe is his last day. And other than that, we have 5 new recruits that should come out of the academy late February, and they'll go on the line in March. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know.
But you have to have a name for the minutes, so. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ted Barrett, and my wife and I here moved here 2019. I have extensive fire service connected experience. It's all been volunteer, and it's been forestry, so it's been temporary, but I'm pretty smart about this. Anyway, how do those statistics that you just read compare to the statistics from last year?
We're up about 10%.
About
We
10?
see an increase of about 10% a year
Okay.
across the entire district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One question, or not, no, not really a question, Mark Newman for the record. Commissioner Garcia did a community cleanup and the chief, came out with his truck in the trailer and we hauled out, and Commissioner Garcia and her son and a few other members of the community cleaned up a yard, took out over 170 tires. Just want to make sure that's put on record. It's appreciated for the help of the fire department within our community. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Have a great year.
You too. Up next is the Sheriff's Department, and you know what? I don't think you need the hot microphone either.
Lieutenant Michael Bryan for the record. Happy holidays to you. Hope you guys are starting a great new year. We also just started a new academy. I want to say it's 12 recruits are starting Monday. So they'll do their 30, how many weeks is it now?
22 in the academy, and
And then
then
The Cat 3 and then,
additional 3 within.
so
our
about 4
agency.
months out.
And then 6 months of FTO.
Yes. For here in Sun Valley, the big 5 offenses for the month of November, I don't have December stats yet because it's obviously the first of the year. But for the month of November, commercial birds, our 3-year average was 1. In 2024, November, we had 1. So we stayed flat on that. Grand theft auto, our 3-year average for the month of November was 4. We had 1 call for service, so that's down. Residential birds in November, our 3-year average was 4. We actually had 0 for the month of November. Robberies, 3-year average was 1 for November 2024, 0. And this one, vehicle birds, 3-year average was 3, and we actually had 0 for the month of November. So I would like to, say that that's a combination between community and law enforcement. 1, for us trying to be in the area, and 2, for you guys being vigilant in the community. So you guys with the cameras outside, with the phone calls saying, hey, I don't know who this person is parked in my neighborhood. Hey, this looks kind of hinky. Can you come check it out? All that in combination, I think is the big contributors for those numbers to go down. So I'm saying thank you. Yes, sir.
Mark Newman for the record. So you do believe that the Ring doorbells and the cameras and everything else are deterring a lot of what used to happen from happening anymore?
I think so. And also, locking your cars, that's a big thing because you have people that just walk around and check door handles. So you're not making yourselves a victim. I think that truly, like, if you guys have your porch lights on in the middle of the night is a deterrent, right? Because now people can see you. I can tell you, us as law enforcement, when we get calls in the middle of the night, we like to play in the darkness because we don't want to be seen as victims ourselves. And I can tell you, one of the worst feelings when we walk up on a property and there's motion lights kick on and there we are standing in the light is a bad feeling for us, but it should also be a bad feeling for the crooks too, right? So I appreciate that too. And yes, the Ring, if I see a Ring camera or some type of camera set up on someone's house, for me as law enforcement, I take a sigh of relief because I'm going to come back to your house and go, hey, please tell me that was working.
One other question. The Sun Valley General Improvement District put cameras in at Gifford Park.
Yep.
I had spoke with management on that to be hooked up with the sheriff's department for less vandalism. Did that ever go through? And
I haven't seen any vandalism calls, and I want to say it was last month I spoke to you about real life policing that's coming up pretty soon. That's probably going to be one of the cameras that we're actually going to be able to use too.
okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know when I talked with Sheriff Balaam. It's horrible with names, but I told him that we were working on it, and he said, well, once it's all in, let the sheriff's department know and they can get it in to help stop the vandalism at the park. And I was just wondering if the vandalism at the GID, the Gifford Park has gone down.
Yeah, I believe the vandalism's gone down. I haven't seen the calls from service popping up because I have access to that and they're down.
Well, we
So-
we put new lighting in there and cameras and.
And again, that's one of the deterrents. And over time, plus if we're doing park checks in the middle of the night, why are you parked in the park after hours? People don't want to get bothered, right? Man, those cops keep bothering me. I just want to do my things, so. I think all that, again, the community and law enforcement working hand in hand, I think is being a big deterrent for this and is actually helping out. So,
Perfect, thank you.
yes, sir.
Hey Dyer, the record, beat you there. I live in an area where we have some people that want to shoot off their shotguns, their guns in the middle of the night and everything. What can be done about that?
So what can be done about that? There's gonna
Because
be-
I've called and there's never anything, because I don't know who it is, I just hear it. And it's not firecrackers.
Okay, so what you can do is you can, if you haven't, you can put in a call for service saying that someone is firing off their gun in a congested area. If you don't know where it's at, our officers, they'll go into the area and hopefully they hear it themselves. That way they can start trying to pinpoint where it's coming from. But in some ways, and I'm not trying to make it sound that it's not solvable, but in some ways it's like a needle in a haystack. Because, okay, it came from this direction, now we have 7, 8 houses here.
Oh, right.
Which house is it now? So if we can pinpoint the house, understand that for the most part, depending on how this person is shooting their weapon, it would be a misdemeanor. It's just, shooting in a congested area, which is the lowest level of crime again, even though it sounds like it's a really big crime, it's still lowest level, unless we can say, okay, they pointed it into an occupied structure or something like that. Now we have bigger crimes. So the best part I can say is call for service, say that you think that it's coming from west of your location, maybe.
That's why I try to tell them, it's either behind me or across the street from me.
And so again, my sergeant, my officers will start trying to get into the area. And again, they're gonna stand by and listen for a little bit.
You have to hear it.
Well, if you can tell us it came from this house, then we can obviously go to that house and investigate further. But most of the time, you're like, I think it came from over here, so we can't just go knock on every single door.
Yeah, because there's like 3 or 4 houses that do it, so it's like, I don't know which one, but.
And so our officers come in the area, hopefully they'll hear it and pinpoint, and then they'll start knocking doors, and say, hey, it's
Please
again,
stop it.
right? But again, it's like, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So if we see it or hear it, then obviously, no, we heard it, and we're gonna investigate a little bit further and dig a little bit deeper on that one, if that makes sense.
Okay. Hi, Heidi Soper for the record. Fact of case comment. I have neighbors behind me that, are you ready for this? I live on Chocolate Drive.
Okay.
So over here, there's nothing right now. The neighbors behind me shoot over my house at coyotes.
Okay.
What can I do about that? Because they're gonna shoot me. Their son has already broken 2 windows shooting.
So I would say you would need to do a call for service, obviously. Explain to dispatch what is going on, that they're actually shooting over your property. And if you can say that it was little Johnny and little Johnny's wearing a red shirt, blue pants, and he shot from this area, and you do put all that to dispatch, I guarantee you, my sergeant, my deputies are gonna knock on that door and figure out exactly what crimes have occurred and then follow accordingly. Because again, you're shooting in a congested area, which is still a misdemeanor, but then there's a whole bunch of other plethora, are they shooting at night? Are they,
They do
who are
shoot
they-
at night.
and who are they putting in?
in?
So these are all different variables to the offenses that they can add up to.
Thank you. The person the house that it comes from, I think it was 2 years ago, they shot out my back dining room window. And they were over there for him, over there to that house because he was gonna threaten to kill himself, and he went in the bedroom and shot out the window and hit my window on the other side, and I have a big metal building He missed it, because it would have ricocheted someplace else, but the bullet was spent by the time it hit the window, because it's dual pane windows. But they still, obviously, I've had BB guns in that same area that I've called and you've gone over and talked to them. And they're pretty much the same offenders who do the shotguns.
Okay.
My problem is with that, is if these are kids, is there an adult when they're shooting these shotguns off?
Well, then the adults
See
were also
that, I
gonna
don't,
be,
yeah, that's
know,
it, I don't know.
and the adults,
They don't
in
say
that
anything.
situation, the adults would also be held liable now because
That's-
it's,
Yeah,
contributing to the doomsday of a minor.
But
and,
it's- I don't want to create World War IV over there either.
right, but again, your safety's paramount, right?
Yeah.
So put in the call for service.
Well, I told the lady, I said, somebody shot my window out over here. I said, don't you remember that? And she goes, no, I don't remember.
Well,
So, what are you gonna do when they don't pay attention? It's frustrating. I'm sorry.
and I bet it is, I can only imagine what they're going through now. And at my point, all I can tell you right now is at least put a call for service in, give the opportunity to my deputies and my sergeants to
Yeah,
solve that
they've
problem.
been over there 2-3 times that I know of now.
And if they don't solve the problem, or if they don't solve the problem to your liking, then you have to speak up about it, because then I can go back and find out what my deputies did. And if they stayed within the accordance of the law, then we'll have to take it to a different step. But if they didn't do their job, then that's now my job to make sure they do.
Yeah, well, the last deputy that was over there and talked to him, the kid was pointing, the BB gun issue came up. And the kid was pointing the BB gun around like this and everything, and the mother picked up the BB gun and pointed it at him. And like the officer told me, he says, you can't fix stupid. And I'm sorry he said that, but I agree with him. You can't fix stupid, but either the kid's gonna get shot because somebody sees that and the BB gun looks just like,
Well, and it doesn't even have to be a BB gun, because
yeah,
people are painting real guns to look like toy guns,
Exactly.
so.
so that is my problem, is because the mother is not doing, I don't even know if there's a dad over there. But there's too much of this stuff with the kids that are happening. It's gonna escalate into something, I'm afraid, with them being with other boys, because they have kind of got other kids out over there.
So what again, also suggest, please put in the call for service, at least let the deputies get there. If there's a different situation going on with the family, we also have civilians that ride with this, they're called most workers. It's a mobile outreach support team.
Mhm.
They're more there on the psychological level to try to obviously not solve the problem, in one call for service, but at least put it on their radar so they can start trying to provide services after the fact to that family.
Mhm.
Maybe that's something we can go through. Also, obviously CPS, if there's juveniles gonna be called, they're gonna be contacted, which each call for service, so hopefully they can do their end on that part. Unfortunately, on my end,
You can't, your hands are pretty much
I'm
tied.
trying to solve, 14 years worth of problems in 14 minutes.
Exactly.
So I don't want to say it's a no-win situation, because I've seen a lot of wins. It just takes a little bit of time.
I'm just afraid it's gonna come into something that somebody's gonna get seriously hurt.
Well, let's pray that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and that's why I keep trying to do something. That's why I keep calling the sheriff on them, because when they do something that could bother me or the neighbors or anything else, and I have seen them do, then I call and they come and talk to them, and it's like, if they just keep doing it.
So, and then I don't want to get too deep into the
No, we don't
weeds with
wanna.
this one. Like every Wednesday, we have what's called a stratified meeting. So it's called stratified police model. And basically we try to figure out which hotspots are happening. If there's been a bunch of birds over here, then we're gonna put resources here. One of the parts of the meetings is a repeat address. And so if one single address gets repeated 5 or 6 times within a week, then it gets put on our radar going, here's a
You're gonna look,
hotspot, here's a problem. Doesn't necessarily mean there's a bunch of birds or something going on, that there's something going on in that household. So then what we do is, that's when we start involving our most workers,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so we go into each call for service and see what it is. It might be two houses are calling on each other for noisy services. Okay, well, now we just have the Hatfield employees right now. We gotta figure out what's going on. But it could be this mom has called now, her juveniles have run away 5 times. Okay, so there's something going on here. Is the kid 17 years old, getting ready to be 18 and move out?
Yeah, they're 12, 13, and
Yeah.
14. I mean, they're very, very young and they have had no firearm experience.
So then that repeat address pops up for us because it came up 5 or 6 times within the 1 week.
Mhm.
So now we're gonna figure out what's going on. So if it's only 1 or 2, it doesn't pop up on our end because I could call once, and then 2 weeks later call once. But it's the way it comes up on the algorithm is it didn't pop up enough times in the 1 week. But if it does, then that kind of helps us out a little bit more too, because now we got to figure out, why is this house or apartment or whatever popping up all of a sudden? And we're gonna try to solve that problem before it gets bigger.
Well, I've had 3 events with them, so what can I say? I mean,
If you wanna let Candy know, just write the address down. Candy will email that address to me. And then I can do a research on that address for like the last 90 days. And then I can put that on a radar.
okay, that would work. Thank you, Candy.
I just have one more question, Carmen Ortiz for the record. So in the past when, our gas was getting stolen off our cul-de-sac, I called, I made a report and, you guys offered at that time to do a drive-by for 30 days.
Mhm.
Do you have to have an offense, you have to file a report to qualify to get that drive-by for 30 nights?
So it's called a house watch.
Mhm.
And no, you don't.
Okay,
We have some people that are saying, I'm going on vacation for the next month. Can you do a house watch? You do that online, just go to washingtonsheriff.com.
Okay.
You go that, I think you can do it on the app, but I'm not sure, but I know you can do it on the website itself. And you just put why. It doesn't have to be a crime, just put why.
perfect.
You know,
Alright.
hey, I've seen this suspicious vehicle come in my, neighborhood for the last 2 nights. You'll put a house watch.
Awesome.
You know?
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm small potatoes right now. This is crazy, during all this. I'm up in Juniper Heights. Get there.
Thank you.
I'm up in Juniper Heights. We don't hear shootings and we don't have all these, any of that stuff. I feel protected. I feel sad for the situation that's happening in general Sun Valley. One of the things is the drag strip down on Sun Valley Boulevard. It's ridiculous, and some people are gonna get killed by irresponsible, uncaring, rude drivers. What is Sheriff's Department, plans for Sun Valley, policing? Because that is a horrible, you've got people driving right up on you in the slow lane, they make a jog. It's close call.
Yes, sir.
And
And
it's
Mr. Barcel,
scary,
a couple
especially when
things,
you got people you love in your car.
100%. So a couple things, a couple citizens have already spoke up. Sun Valley Boulevard from 1st to 7th is, depending on how you want to call it, either NHP or NSP, depends on who's talking, but that's theirs. That's their jurisdiction, that's theirs. So any type of speed enforcement or whatnot is going to be, that's their responsibility. Now, do my deputies travel on Sun Valley Boulevard
Yes.
full traffic? Yes, they do. But I also only have 2 deputies that work Sun Valley Boulevard, well, Sun Valley itself.
So it's personnel.
It would be a totality problem. It's society's problem. It's our
Okay.
problem. It's Nevada State Police,
So,
Nevada Highway Patrol.
We have, you and the other authorities have some kind of idea of how to have, can you have a mutual situation?
So there is some, here in the state of Nevada, we have something called joining forces. And it's state funded. But it goes through a whole bunch of different things. There'll be a seatbelt grant. There'll be like a seatbelt grant. There'll be DUI grants. there will be speeding
Okay.
grants.
Yeah.
To where what happens is that state will pay our departments overtime. So if I want to enforce speeders on my day off,
Right.
instead of the entity going, I don't have the money to pay that overtime, the state funds will come in and say, you, will pay for you to go enforce speeders. So that does happen on a joint level. I can't speak for NSP, NHP. I can just tell you that we try to get back into neighborhoods and protect the neighborhoods more than enforcing speed on Sun Valley Boulevard. Because again, that's not our jurisdiction, if that kind of makes sense. So I'd much rather have my two deputies do what they can getting into the neighborhoods and try to keep that safe.
So what you're saying is we're in limbo, Nick.
I wouldn't say you're in limbo. I would say if you really want to have a complaint about the speeders on Sun Valley Boulevard, then contact NHP, NSP and tell them that you want speeders.
So how do you report it?
To NHP or NSP, contact them.
Okay.
Myself, if I don't have jurisdiction,
And now you have to have video, you have to have visual confirmation. It's just the same old rigmarole.
you can
You know.
you can put the complaint in, like if you were to put a speed complaint in on 7th Avenue between Leon and wherever,
Yeah,
that goes to our motor division.
okay.
It wouldn't go to the patrol division, it goes to our motors. So that our motors are gonna go through all these different complaints they get. Okay, today we're gonna go over on, 7th between Leon and Cassandra. We're gonna go in Galena. That's our motor division.
Okay.
I would assume that that's how NSP works too. That if you put the complaint in, they're hopefully gonna put some enforcement.
See a lot of information about the horrible accidents we're having on Sun Valley Boulevard. And I guarantee you some of them are probably caused by somebody forcing an issue and losing it.
There's always someone involved, right? Whether it's speeders, not looking, not using their indicators, going through an intersection in the yellow. I mean, there's always someone doing something silly, right?
Okay. That's all I gotta say.
Remember running the gauntlet?
Just to clarify though, if they're present on Sun Valley Boulevard and somebody's speeding, whether it's their jurisdiction or not, they will stop them and they will give them a ticket and stuff. If they're there, they do it, whether or not. I mean, I know that they're all county, they're sheriffs. They can do it anywhere they need to do it.
Sure.
And they will do it if they're present, okay? And they do listen. I've seen more patrol, even though they don't, it's not their jurisdiction. I know that they will patrol more, and that's why we have these meetings. We bring this up, they listen, and they do extra stuff for us in the valley. I know that for sure, that happens all the time. I just want to make that clear, because, he's answering all the questions, but he got to get kudos for the fact that, they do the job, even though it's not their jurisdiction. They're trying. It's just very difficult when you deal with, you can't fix stupid, and stuff like that. And young people, especially young people, are really tough to control when it comes to driving. I remember myself, I was bad when I was young. I had a lot of tickets and a few accidents because of my stupidity. I don't want them to learn the hard way. That's why we want them to help us. But I just want to clarify that they will do as much as they can do, and they listen to us. That's why they come out here and give us reports. And
Just to
stuff.
piggyback on that real quick, I was talking about stratified policing and how we have the hot spots and, a bunch of birds are happening around. I'm gonna put some resources here. One of the sheriff's pillars is DUI enforcement. And one of the hot spots that popped up, believe it or not, is Sun Valley Boulevard between First and Gepford. Over the last, 5 years, there was X amount of DUIs that were found on this location from us. Not NHP, NSP, but it was from us. Yes, we get them all over the place, but there was more DUIs that we did between First and Gepford. So what that is a hot spot. So now what we're telling our deputies is, look, you're finding them here. Keep an eye out here a little bit more. And we still got more DUIs because we identified that was one of our problems. Granted that that's not our jurisdiction, but us living in the county, working in the county, we got more DUIs than. So we do try to patrol it. But to do like speed enforcement on Sun Valley Boulevard, you gotta take that complaint to NHB and SPSA. This is a problem, especially since 395 is all messed up. You know, and everyone's going from Spanish Springs to other parts of Reno, using Sun Valley Boulevard instead of Pyramid and Carrot. So it's gonna be a problem. Contact NHB and say, this is a problem, especially during commute hours. Please do something about it.
Marcus, are you-
Mark Newman for the record, thank you very much for your, time.
Yes, sir.
You can ask Candy, we've lived in Sun Valley for quite a while. Sun Valley Boulevard used to be called Running the Gauntlet because you had Reno Police, Sparks Police, Washoe County, and an NHP. And sometimes you'd come down the boulevard and there would be all of them out there. I mean, literally one car on every single block.
Mhm.
Most of the time now you go by and you're lucky if you see one.
There are some other things that,
I understand, but you're understaffed and underfinanced, just like the rest of every agency in the county.
across.
You don't want your taxes raised. I don't want my taxes raised. People don't realize if you don't raise your taxes, you don't get what you're gonna get.
Well, and it's across the
It's plain
nation,
and simple.
you know, it's across the nation too.
Mhm.
The draw to law enforcement for someone coming out of college or whatnot, it's not there anymore. You know, it used to, this is just me kind of going on a rant real quick. You know, law enforcement used to be paramilitary. You would go into the military, go in law enforcement. It's the same structure. It was safe. It's home. That's what we know. And nowadays we're doing job fairs, trying, please come work for us. You know, it just, the draw's not there anymore. So we're trying. Anything else?
That was just a comment. It wasn't really towards you.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
I did get a ticket on the boulevard. I was doing 52 between Crystal and El Rancho.
Okay.
And highway patrol got me and they pulled me over. They gave me I got 2 tickets because I had my wrong insurance and the speeding. So, it comes with a court date or whatever. So I looked at my ticket. It was on the 11th of November, which is Veterans Day. So the court wasn't even open. So the ticket had a court date that wasn't even open. This was in Reno. And so I go to the court and I'm like, hey, I got this ticket, but the courthouse wasn't open. So what do? Before, you'd be on their list, you'd get a warrant. It was like, there was a type of fear. She said, you have 3 options you could pay. You can get the insurance hit and you can pay the full amount. You can pay a less amount and not get the insurance hit, or you can pay it even less amount and get the insurance hit. So there was really no type of like, ooh, I'm not gonna do this again. Because one, the court wasn't even open the day they gave me the ticket for it. The second one is a $50 ticket and I didn't even get the insurance fine. So I'm not trying to say like, there's no, before it was like, you don't get a ticket because you get the insurance hit, you gotta pay a $200 ticket. It's like, you were scared. I grew up being scared. And I got pulled over in my 98 Subaru doing 52 because, you know, I'm hauling. So that's the kind of stuff that's happening. It's almost, I hate to say this, but a joke, because I couldn't even do what the law said. Go to court on this date, go in front of a judge, pay your fine. So if they're not following through on their part, how do citizens even feel like, well, we have to follow the law if they're not doing their part? That's just how I saw it on that.
So
It's not your jurisdiction, like I said. I know that's how I patrol. That was my personal experience.
normally when you receive a ticket, though, you turn it on the backside, there's gonna be 3 options. You know, you can pay for it, you can, you know, go to court. You can handle any one of those 3 options. Why the court was scheduled for Veterans Day, I don't know. When it comes to your insurance, like if you have the wrong insurance, a lot of times if you go in and show that you had proof
Yeah.
of insurance,
That's what I did.
I won't say that they take the charge away,
Huh.
because you're probably gonna have to at least pay like the filing fee, right? So it's
No,
not
I
gonna,
didn't have to pay anything. They just said, okay, we'll dismiss this. And then it was, so, but Washoe County might be different. So I'm just saying my situation, but.
well,
if
and
I
it
get one for
depends.
you, I'll come back and let you.
I mean-
That's perfect. If you don't have to get one, I'll get one for you.
As far as ramifications or being held accountable or something like that, I'll be more than happy at one point to talk to you
Yeah.
off the record,
Yeah, definitely.
because I have my own concerns that are happening. But again, that's just my concerns, and that's not for this forum.
Yeah, perfect. Just another thing too, I had a neighbor file this, illegal dumping report back in October, and they haven't heard anything back, and I was wondering how this works.
So that was filed online?
It was filed online, it's an illegal dumping report submitted on October 24th, that has like the site, what's here, how long it's been there, the neighbor's name, all the contact information. And in this specific report, there's actually mail that they had pulled out of the car, that has the address that it came from, and still there was no follow-up, so what happens now?
So normally when it goes to the front desk, the front desk is gonna take that initial report. If it's an online report, it actually still goes to the first front desk, but it goes into like a different area. Is there priority to those cases? No. It's a front desk. Because obviously, if it's getting called in through dispatch or something like that, then my deputies have to handle it on the spot, so to speak. Not something that's been filed away over here. I'm not saying that we don't go through those, but there's time that gets allotted to it, but not the time that you think. If that kind of answers the question. You say that was back in October?
Yeah, this was the most recent one. We filed many in the past that nothing's happened.
So,
Actually, one that we mentioned crystal meth in, they cleaned up right away, but they only cleaned up part of it. The exact place where they thought the crystal meth was and left the rest of the trash. So again.
so
I'm kinda confused
I would
about
have to go by case basis, like that one you speak of, I would have to be able to go back to my office
that. Perfect.
and pull up the case and
Okay.
tell you where it's at or what happened. Cause I know some of them, like once a month, our work crew will try to go out and do cleanups with those desk reports. Okay, we have one here, we have one here, we have one here. If they go out there and it's no longer there anymore, or if it's just a dump card, then that goes into a different part. So I'd have to look at each one on a
So-
case by case basis.
Oh, so if we have like address or actual information of the people who dumped it, will there be any investigations going on that, or it's just kind of no priority front desk?
Well,
Yeah.
so if a civilian took something out of somebody's car, again, it's gonna be case by case, but if they took it out of somebody's car and said, this is the person who dumped it. Well, now we have some legal ramifications. Did that person actually commit the crime of burglary by going to someone else's property? We have to prove that it was dumped,
Okay.
because now we have another crime potential right here.
Mhm.
So for us to go out and just immediately arrest this person, like, hey, wait a minute. I just parked my car there. We have to go through all those muddles, garbage, red tape. We have to go through all that first, if that kind of makes sense. But if we go out there, we find a car that's been dumped, we find mail and stuff in there. Those people's mail, were they a victim of a theft over here? And it just so happens their mail down this person's car. So those are all the different ways we have.
So
to
there
go
will be
through
an
it.
investigation.
There should be,
Okay,
yes.
Perfect, perfect. And I've tried to contact you before. I've talked to some lady, but they said you're super busy. I'll just keep leaving voicemails
The
and,
best way to contact me is an email.
yeah,
And Candy has my email. That's the best way to
I have
contact.
your card. I will try to email you.
Yeah, 100%, because
Okay.
that's something I have to check multiple times a day. And I'll answer those. As far as the phone calls go, sometimes I see my little red light blinking on my phone. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. Other times, unless it's ringing,
Thank you. This is just specific to my neighbor. Now I can take his file back and be like.
yes, ma'am.
Still crazy, right?
Anybody else? Well, you can ask her, this is not related to what we're doing, you'll have to wait till after, or catch her when we're in a different, thing. Anybody else have a question for the sheriff? For the sergeant? You're off the hook, thank you for coming out today.
Happy New Year.
And I want to say, just one thing is, it's not to you, just that our meetings and our participation with the sheriff's department, because we come out like this, is one of the reasons why I think crime is down in our area. That's one of the reasons cabs help work for your community, okay? Because of the information we get out, because of the interaction that we have with our law enforcement and our fire department, and because of our love of our community and our interactions with each other, is why our community becomes safe. So thank you for coming out to the cab and for participating.
And we learn information as well.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to item number 6, Neighborhood Development Hub, which is Candy's realm. Have at it, Candy.
Good morning, everyone. Candy Ramos for the record. I am going to share my screen. I know everyone here can see it, but I want to make sure people can see it online too. I hope I'm doing this correctly. Okay. So what you're seeing here is our neighborhood development hub. We go over this every month. This allows people to know what's coming up regarding development projects throughout the entire community. So as all of you live here in Sun Valley, but perhaps you work in South Meadows, you can see what's going on in the South Meadows area. So this can be accessed by visiting washoecounty.gov. There's a search bar. You can look for neighborhood developer meetings. You can look for neighborhood hub, and it will take you to this page that you see here. And you'll see upcoming projects. Right now, it does not look like we have one upcoming project on February 4th. It is out in the North Valleys area by Reno Stead Airport. So this way you'll see any upcoming events. And then there's also the map over here and then by project over here. So it does not appear that there's anything coming up. If you see, this is Sun Valley. There was the Chocolate Drive multifamily and the Sun Valley 65-foot monopole. These aren't clickable, but you can go over here. So if you see Chocolate Drive multifamily, you can click on it and it provides information about that meeting. So it took place on October 15th. Here's the information about, here's the project description. There's an opportunity to still submit feedback. It looks like it was October 17th. District 3, there you can see the comments that were provided to the developer by the community. So you can, even if you weren't able to go that day, you can see that a few people did provide some questions to them. Get back out of here. And here's the recording. All of these comments, the sign-in sheet, everything that took place, here's the meeting summary. This is then provided to the developer. So these are really great meetings to go to so that you can be heard very early in the development process, so that these changes or anything that's agreed upon during that meeting will be integrated into the plan. So the Washoe County planner sees these comments. So changes to made if applicable, and you guys probably can't see this. It says as proposed. Storm drainage in the area will be significantly improved with paved Chocolate Drive. So there's all the things that took place. A trailhead and parking area will be dedicated to Washoe County parks. This all came about because of people attending this meeting and giving their input. So as projects are becoming available, we really encourage you to both visit the hub proactively. You can set it something in your calendar. Or if you go to washoecounty.gov, there's also a way to sign up for mailing list, the email list that you will receive all of the notifications. So you might get one for the South Meadows project, but you would also receive the ones that are in Sun Valley. And we do these postings about these neighborhood developer meetings on Nextdoor. So if you are on Nextdoor, that's another way to know about these meetings. And then we have a few of our fabulous CAB members. I know Amy's really great about sharing meetings that are coming up, both CAB meetings, developer meetings. So just, come together with your neighbors, tell them, come to these meetings, learn about the projects that are going on, how they're going to impact your community, and have your say. And then that say that you make will then be given to the developers. Does anyone have any questions about the hub? Yes, Mr. Newman. Mark Newman.
Mark Newman for the record. Chocolate Drive, all those things that you pointed out, those were required by the county commissioners.
Okay.
Our community, through multiple meetings, had them actually do Fifth Street because they were only going to use Second Street as the only entrance and exit to their entire place. I asked for Gifford and Fourth Street to be finished out to the end because those cars are going to be trying to get. Second Street is not going to be the only way when you got another housing development as well as the new apartments that they put in over there. It's not going to be very pretty on Second Street.
Right.
But our previous county commissioner, I won't mention name, but I live on the other side of the valley. Why are you worried about what happens on the other side of the valley? That's what I got from my past county commissioner. Second thing is, I've been getting notices for like, grandmother houses,
Mhm.
second dwellings on properties. But none of those come up on the hub. But I get the notice from the county that they're having meetings. Planning Commission, Amy, you testified that I'm sure she's seen some of them come up in front of the county, planning commission. Yeah, but I've had like 4 notices in the last month. But none of those come up on the hub.
I'm not an expert on the development process. I think that if someone is zoned where they can put an accessory dwelling unit on their property, I'm not sure what notification has to take place, but it wouldn't necessarily go on the hub because it's not a development. It's just a one-off thing,
Yeah.
is my understanding.
But there's a lot of stuff that happens within the valley that are developments within the valley, but they're not put anywhere. Mike doesn't know what's happening on the other side of Sun Valley Drive. He only,
Of course I do. I know you.
yeah, but I mean, you're not notified about it.
No,
You you just hear,
no, the last notification.
From
I
everybody
got,
here.
I got the
Mhm.
ones that were on the list. Okay,
Yeah.
that were on the list. But yeah, on the smaller stuff, no. But that's okay because that's why I come here, why I have neighbors and why I talk to them. That way I know what's going on.
That's-
But
that's the only
smaller
reason.
stuff, like Amy said, is probably not gonna get.
well,
But it will hit us on notifications. that
they're
within so
actually,
many
they actually
years of
give you a
what's
date
going
and
on.
time at the,
So-
1009th Street,
So if it's within your, whatever the distance is.
750
you get- yeah,
feet.
You get a notification no matter what's going on. I got a notification of electrical. Somebody's going from 100 amp to 200 amp within a certain amount of distance from me.
Yeah, or the
Which
flagpole.
has no effect on me. It's probably for their garage, but I got the notice because it's within that. I wouldn't go to anything but just the fact that we get noticed because there's a building permit going on.
But that's what, all I'm saying is, that it's none of that stuff, even though it goes, and they'll send you that notice that says you can come to this meeting at this time on this date at the county, building. But you may be just 5 out of 10, 5 out of the 100 that hear about it. But it's not put up there. And that's all I'm saying is,
Yeah, and we
The
also
stuff that-
don't, we wouldn't want to overwhelm this hub because we want people to know about these really big projects that are going on. So if every accessory dwelling unit, every garage, someone's power is being changed, it would really kind of overwhelm the important projects. So we really want people to know what's going on, that's going to impact them more largely.
well, you see what I know you as well as everybody else in this room. How many big projects do we have that go on that are actually discussed?
The ones that are on the hub.
How many is that?
It looks like right now there were 2 on there. The monopole, which I don't think was a big project, and Chocolate Drive.
Yeah. But Chocolate Drive has been going, how many years now, ladies? 3 or 4 years now? We've been dealing with Chocolate Drive and it hasn't been developed. And you also got,
I am a lowly Washoe County employee. I just share the information. I can't speak to the development process.
I understand.
Yeah, I just share the hub. Yeah.
I'm just saying there's a whole bunch of other stuff that happens within the valley that we hear about it from word of mouth, but it's not on the hub. Somebody's building a 2-story grandmother's house with RV parking and completely developing a huge part of their property as a separate rental units, and you don't hear about it.
Fortunately, you have a member of the planning commission who sits on our cab. So maybe you can speak with Amy Owens after the meeting and share with her some of your
Well,
concerns.
we also got a few other. cab
We have some
members.
commissioners here. We have our county
CID.
manager here. Yeah.
Oh, no, but that's all I'm saying is, because I get the phone calls, I'm sure Mike gets phone calls, what the hell's going on?
If you'd
And
like,
your guys just going, well, look at the hub. Well, you go to the hub and, oh, it's not on the hub.
so you would like clarification maybe at the February meeting on what triggers a posting on the
That
hub?
would be good, yeah.
Okay, I can,
Because I got questions about the car wash that went in up in the front of the valley.
Yeah.
And that's outside, that's even outside of the jurisdiction of the GID. That's on that's the other side, but still because it's inside the proper Sun Valley, we're all.
We don't hear about that. We have no comment.
I
We can't do
will.
anything about it. It just gets built and we're SOL.
All right. I can add that to the February cab meeting.
Thank you, Candy.
All right, any other
I have a
questions?
question.
More questions, okay. State your name.
Why,
for-
Ted Barrett. Why is chocolate not paved like all the other streets in Sunbelt?
I can answer that for you after the meeting.
I cannot answer that. I just share the hub so that people can empower themselves to go on. I can't speak to why it's not.
As far as this chocolate project goes, there's a lot of people in the room that can catch you up on it after the meeting. That's a whole nother.
That's
can of
another,
worms you don't
that,
wanna open.
that's not even a can, it's a bucket.
Yeah. So we can get all the secrets you want after. Go ahead.
Carol Burns for the record. Could you tell us, wasn't there going to be a meeting about the cabs before the county commissioners at the end of this month?
So that's not on this topic, but I can answer that maybe in,
Well, that's what I was.
Yeah, we'll wait till we, let's
Okay.
wait till we get to our board and public comment stuff.
Would it be on the hub, is what I'm.
oh, on the, no, so the hub is for
The hub-
development. But, the cab input presentation or the meeting that took place was on December 19th. You were there. And then we have pulled together the information and we're sharing that with our county commissioners. But no meeting has been set for that.
Okay, any more hub questions? Questions for the hub? All right, then we're gonna move on. You're off the hook, Candy. Okay. Now we're getting into the, board member commissioner announcements and discussions. So we're gonna go with our county commissioners first. Which one of you would like to start up? All right. Commissioner Darcy.
Good morning, Maria Luz Garcia for the record. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. I bet you didn't realize Santa Claus is in Kobe's Casino. now. Mr. Mark Newman, wave. He grew out that beard, dressed up as Santa Claus and showed up at the senior center. Thank you so much for doing that. It brings a lot of cheer and excitement and community building for our seniors. So I
And it was fun too.
Yes, and you make a great kid. So I'm a very kind of reflective person. Milestones in the year mean a lot to me. Gives me a chance to kind of think back on what I learned, how I did, what I can improve. And this last ECC meeting was the second year I've served as your county commissioner. And so to have 2 years under my belt has been a true honor and a privilege. And I've been really grateful for this opportunity to serve. And so just a quick recap, in my 2 years, I have served on 8 regional boards, and that's outside of the Board of County Commission work. So that's 8 board meetings that meet monthly, quarterly, or annually that you have to prepare for and get ready for and represent my District 3 constituents on. That was wonderful. I also had the privilege of being appointed to a statewide commission on education and innovation, which is a little bit out of the scope of a county commissioner, but it has been wonderful and a tremendous amount of work. We fly down to Vegas and meet there regularly with all sorts of people. So that has been really great learning experience for me. A couple changes to the boards that I represent. I wanted to let you know. I have let go of 2. District Board of Health and Medical Services Advisory Board are now under the purview of Commissioner Andriola. Everything else has stayed the same. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on it. And in reflecting, year 1, my personal goal, because I always set aside kind of what is going to be my focus, something to keep my eye on, right? My first year, really, I wanted to focus on health and wellness and parks. So as you know, I did a lot of work in helping get our youth out to our county and regional parks with special side projects. I'm about to write up an op-ed to highlight the most recent data. We did a huge expansion from last year's Sun Valley Regional Park. We served over 750 students in the phase 2. So I'll be writing up an op-ed and talking about the importance of getting kids outdoors, STEM education, and making sure that families have access to our wonderful parks. I also, last May, did a side project, and I didn't really involve any of the county staff. I just kind of partnered up with a nonprofit to do bike safety and pedestrian safety. Did some outreach at Bernice Matthews, which is next to Paradise Park in my district. And I'm looking forward to doing something similar this month or this year for Bike Month, which is the month of May. So I'm still doing the wellness and the youth outreach efforts moving forward. But this year, I'm turning my attention to community cleanups. That's going to be my focus for the year and just putting my heart and soul into that. So a lot of what we discussed here at the CAB, I'm writing down and taking note of so that I can help come up with some solutions for that. So those are my personal goals so far in my 2 out of 4 year term. And I want to let you all know that our upcoming strategic planning meeting is coming up on January 28th. It's open to the public, 9:30 to 3 p.m. It's going to be in our chambers at the county complex this year, so you're welcome to come. We're going to have an update on senior initiatives. This is going to be a big year for behavioral health, the sequential intercept model, which is a really creative approach, not just addressing behavioral health needs like in a clinic setting or in a behavioral health setting, but looking at it from the lens of law enforcement to courts, to our detention, and even into re-entry. So it's going to be a really great kind of holistic way to look at behavioral health here in the region. We're also going to talk about CABs, regional housing and public-private partnerships, and supportive housing and tenancy support. So housing is the issue here. We all know that homelessness, the only way we solve homelessness is if we have more housing and more units to get folks stable and get them the access to the mental health support that they need, substance abuse support, and get their families connected to the resources they need. So really grateful to serve in this role as a commissioner. It is right up my alley. I'm a school counselor by trade, so I feel like everything we do at the county commission level is something that has really impacted families that I've worked with for over 20 years here in District 3. I visited 2 constituents this week at their homes. I want to let you know that, like you're a new face, I'm gonna give you my card. You can text me, email me, I'll come to your house. I am very active on social media. I saw an exchange online and I was able to kind of answer a question where I can help out. I am able to do so. So let me know if you ever need anything. And I welcome our new guest, Jesus. Thank you so much for coming. He's a dad. I need to meet his little one. I told him he could bring kids to this meeting. It's a family friendly thing. My kiddo is wrestling in Las Vegas right now, so wish him luck. He's a little Tasmanian devil on that wrestling mat, so we'll see how he does. But thank you again for the opportunity to serve.
He's a good worker there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Herman.
So I'll be quick, because I know we're running out of time, but I just wanted to get back to camps, which to me, I have 5 of them in my district. So, I attend not only this one, but 10 others. So, along with all my other boards. So, it keeps me pretty busy on my toes. So, back to cabs. Cabs to me are probably the most important meetings I go to. For this reason, I want to hear the people's voice. Not just the ones that don't work and that come to the meeting occasionally on Main Street, but the ones that have to work. And that's, you're all who I represent. You're the people. And your voice is very, very important to me. I think I was in the first year of CABS when it first started here. So I do have a little experience in CABS. And that's a long time ago when they started. And I fought to try and keep them going because they are so important to all of us. If we don't know what we're doing, how would a commissioner get to know all the people without having CABS? How would you know what they're feeling or what they need? So important it's very important. And I would like to see more participation in the CAB meetings, but I know you guys all go back to your people, your neighbors, and you talk to them about maybe they can't show up, maybe they have 5 kids and they got all those events on Saturday morning, but that's, I feel this is very, very important to us. And I feel that we need to remain and we deserve to have a business meeting, a CAB. We social get together anytime. But really, the business meeting, it's just basic of us learning how government works. So you people in cabs are the ones that are probably pretty prone to developing into running for office. And that's where we start. Now, this is the baby class, but we deserve a business meeting. That's my view. So that's why I wanted to get across. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Herman. Manager Brown, would you like to make any comments? All right, I just wanted to give you the opportunity. Whenever I see your face out there, I want to make sure you got a voice if you need it. All right, so now we're down to board. Heidi wants to go first. Have at it, Heidi.
It's me again, Heidi Soper for the record. I have a couple of things. If anybody ever has a subject that they want discussed at the CAB, let us know. I don't care what it is, as long as it pertains to Sun Valley, let us know. We don't have a lot of people here today, which is really a disappointment. So I need you to spread the word to all your friends that on our February 1st meeting, we're possibly going to have speakers from the emergency management team for Washoe County and Manager Brown. March 1st, we're possibly going to have the lead engineer and division director of Washoe County and the GIV representative to speak about fire hydrants. These are two subjects that people have asked me about, and I passed it on to Candy, and she's working hard to get those people here. The next thing I wanted to say was the meeting for the cabs in December, I was not able to go to. I got to stay home and play with strep throat. And those people are probably happy I didn't go because I couldn't talk. And I do that. I'm a very strong opponent of the cabs. We're very important. We have commissioners and commission support commission that really don't want us here. And we have commissioners that do want us here. I printed out the article that was in Senior Spectrum that Donna Klaus printed out. Everybody pick up one and read it. You'll find out exactly why we're here, what we're supposed to be doing. And I feel that the cabs, like I said, are so important. We pay for the cabs with our tax dollars. We elect the commissioners and pay their salaries with our tax dollars. And I really would like everybody who's interested in keeping the cabs going to go to the meeting on the 28th at 9:30 in the commission chambers and support the cabs. I don't know if it's going to be a vote to get rid of us. I don't know if it's going to be a discussion. I don't know what it's going to be. So we all need to be there and say something in support of the cabs. That's all I got.
And January 28th,
Yes.
what time in the morning?
9:30.
9:30?
Okay, anybody else on the board wants to say something? Amy, you're up next.
Amy Owens for the record. I just have a request for a possible presenter. It was brought up in a couple of the Facebook posts for the superintendent for Washington County Schools to talk about overcrowding.
Okay, we have to introduce Veronica Cortez, and she's gonna have to say a few words, even though she doesn't want to, maybe she doesn't want to say anything, but I want her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her.
Thank you, Michael. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Veronica Cortez. Those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the By Right Pizza Girl. I'm the pizza lady up the street. You'll find me from 3 to 9 at the By Right Market. Very proud third generation Sun Valley. My grandparents came over from Texas Like I said, I have the Buy Right Pizza. I'm also a local notary. If anybody needs a notary, I have a nonprofit up the street teaching ranching and farming to the youth. I used to be out there in one of those chairs. In fact, I started it out in the back and then I came up, and now, I applied for the board. I got put on the waiting list, and, a spot came up and here I am. So I'm here because I think it's about the people, like, Jeannie had mentioned. If it's not for you guys, we're not here. If this board is at risk for not being a board anymore, well, then who's gonna represent you? So I feel like if the youth is not aware of what's going on, about being introduced or spreading the hope for Sun Valley, this could be a possibility of diminishing. So that's kind of where I come in. On this board, I want to, a few of, like Garcia said, the goals that I personally have for Sun Valley. I'm in District 5, correct? Yes, I am in District 5. So I'm still learning all this stuff. That just proves that I was once you. I don't know all the answers. I'm still learning, and I have great people here to show me. But it is about the people. It's about Sun Valley. It was about my grandparents. It's about my parents. It's about me. It's about everybody out here. I care just as much for you and what's happening to you because I grew up here. I went through all this, and I experienced it. Now as an adult, I feel like I have the opportunity to change it. So yeah, let's get the word out there about the illegal dumping. Nobody wants this trash in their backyard. Let's get more resources out here in the valley for, like she said, the behavioral, the mental health, as we go up in age. Even now I'm 47, I'm starting to forget things. I'm used, my body's starting to fall apart and stuff. So I'm on the same page as you guys. Let's get the resources out here. We can take examples, from Reno. They have the Hopes campus that they have over there. We have a lot of people that are living on the streets out here. And as the weather's getting colder, they're part of our community. Maybe we don't like to see it, but, they are part of the community, and we got to take care of the ones on the very bottom to the ones on the very top. So that's why I'm here, just to represent everybody here. And like I said, some of the things that are important to me is the health, mental health, behavioral health, senior health, youth health. Let's come together as a community instead of being the seniors, the youth, the middle people. We're all one. We're all one. So thank you. Thank you for letting me be out here. And here I am for anything you need to find me at Buy Right. We're here at the meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. You listened to me. I talked too much, and I kept asking for more people to get involved. Well, see what happens. But that's a plus that will help this community big time. She's so involved in this community at so many levels, you have no idea. And she's been out here a really long time. My family and her family have known each other for years and years and years. Mark, you're on the board as an alternate. You want to say something?
Yes, please. Thank you. Mark Newman for the record.
Microphone or by your-
I think you can all hear me.
Probably.
This would be mainly for our commissioners. I know, Mayor Lucy, you've been elected official just as long as I have for the last 2 years. And I know I can remember way back when Jeannie voted against it. Thank you very much, Commissioner. But they took all of our citizens advisory boards used to have a say, a real big say. We voted on things and we took it to the commissioner. And a few years back, any kind of other than you guys being here and listening to us, we don't have really any kind of a vote on what happens within our community. It goes to the hub. And stuff that's happening on the hub that happens in the valley, we really don't, unless it's within the 750 feet of your house, you don't hear about it. It's not posted on the hub, unless it's a big, huge, major project. The citizens, unless you're here at these meetings and go to other meetings, you don't know what's happening within our community. We used to have, this room used to get filled because people wanted to know what's happening in the community and they had a voice in the community. We lost that. We really have, because we don't have a bite anymore. And now from what I've seen, you even want to get rid of the Citizens Advisory Board meetings altogether. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. You guys all have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, so the only person that hasn't talked very much is me, so I'll do my board. Wait a minute, we have an alternate, Carmen Ortiz. Come on up, Carmen, you can make a few comments before I slam the door shut.
Carmen Ortiz for the record. Thanks for being here. I also want to piggyback on what Commissioner Herman said, and Heidi, and Mark, that the cabs really are important. And I forgot to thank Commissioner Herman and County Manager. They were at that meeting that was 5 days before Christmas. And Mike Clark, also Commissioner Mike Clark came to that meeting. So the citizen advisory boards are really important. And I know most of you guys know that I work for the school district. I'm starting my 11th year with them this year. So I will not be able to go to the county commission meeting. But I want the county commissioners to know that these meetings really are important to us as a community. And it's the first Saturday of the new year. And that's the only reason why this isn't packed. Some of our seniors are snowbirds and they're in Arizona right now. But March, they'll be back. So there's a need for this. And when we had development, those meetings were packed. And Chocolate Drive is the only thing going on right now. However, there is Five Ridges is doing all kinds of things. We'd love to hear an update from them. Highland Village 1 and 2, they're doing stuff. We'd love to hear an update from them. All these ones that have submitted plans that haven't broke ground, we'd still love to know, you know, we could have one at every meeting all year. Just giving us an update. And if they really cared about us, we're here now. We're consistent. They'll come. We're not always mad at the developers. We want to work with them. The only time, I want this on the record, the only time we ever got mad at a developer was when they came in from the East Coast and quoted the wrong master plan here in Sun Valley. They quoted the Reno master plan to the Sun Valley residents, and they were pissed because they said, that's not what we do here in Sun Valley. You're quoting the wrong master plan. But these guys, whatever, from the East Coast, they had no idea. They
And
were
they said-
quoting the wrong master plan.
Well, the best part of it was, sorry for interrupting you. We're gonna do it our way and you're just gonna have to live with it. That's what got everybody really upset.
They started the argument. Anyway, I can't be there at the county commission meeting, but please know, these meetings are so important for us and we want them. And if I have an opportunity to say something for the seniors, one of my best friends, her mom, she lives for pickleball and now she has to pay to go to play pickleball, like $100 a year or something. I don't know what it is, but please, let's help our seniors that are on fixed incomes. Let's take away money from over here, put it over here so that those seniors can go do those things that improve their quality of life. And they don't have to decide, do I want to buy groceries or do I want to play pickleball? Let's help our seniors, please. I can't be at that meeting, so you guys go and speak for me. Thank you.
All right, that leaves the last bullet comment up to me. First of all, a great thanks to everybody who participated, for everybody who listened, who came to go to the next level. I'm sure there'll be more of you. I encourage that there'll be more of you to get involved in our community. There's one other development that's in progress that nobody mentioned. Sun Mesa has started their next phase. Nobody even knows where that is, probably. That would be over on the east side of the valley. It's a development that's been going on for about a decade. And they keep doing it slowly, but they're active again and they're building more houses up there again. So, yeah, it's up more closer to, not Gifford, but 4th Street. You go right up into the thing up there. But there's another development up there. It's been there a long time. That's why nobody talks about it, but it's growing again. The next phase. And the only reason I know about the phase is because they got to come to the GID for water. And I know they're doing their next phase up there. So there's even more developments than everybody. But that's why you come to these meetings so you can find out stuff you don't know about places that you didn't know existed right now. My comment on the cabs is the same. I was involved in some of that development stuff when it first was going through. We had real impact on getting Highland, Highland
Village.
Yeah, the Highland Village stuff, we had huge impact on the intersections, on the lighting, on everything, because that was the last project that I remember coming through a cab that actually had input to the developer directly, and the public could sit down. And the last part of that, Carol was on that board. We did it on a Zoom, the very tail end of that project. We had to Zoom the cab because COVID was going on. And we finished that Zoom by discussing the changes that they made for what the public requested. We went over change by change that they made for what they were doing and what they were not. They wanted to put apartments in there. We kept them from doing that. They stayed with the dwelling so it would match, you know, everything in the area. But that was the last meeting that I was involved in where the CAB had the commissioners and the planning commission's ear, where our reports would go to them and they would consider what we said and take that into their decision. And I believe that that was the best when we did that. I'm not picking the development hub. It's a great thing. At least we can see what's going on everywhere. But I still think it's hands-on. We have a lot of people up here that don't do this, the computer, that may be intimidated by it. Hands-on, and those meetings were huge, because when it comes to development, you put something for chocolate on here and see how many people show up. It'll surprise you, because people have opinions. I'm not anti-growth, but I am intelligent growth. Okay, it has to involve a lot of things, and sometimes it takes a combined brain power of a community to actually look at what's going on and to advise the people that we've elected of exactly what needs to be done for our community, to keep it safe, to help its infrastructure. We want to provide for the people that need housing, but we also need to provide for the people that are already living in this community and their quality of life as well. It has to be a balance. And the only way you get that balance is if you get involvement and you talk to every single person in your community. They have to have input. You have to listen to the input. You have to really understand why they believe what they believe. Whether it's right or wrong, it still has to be addressed and has to be listened to. This is the longest speech I've given in a long time. But it's important. These cabs, even in the what they're doing right now, are so important, because if you want to see your county commission meetings get more rowdy and worse, which I don't think you do, you already have enough of that going on in county commission. You cut your cabs out and find out that the people that are here griping come to you directly, and your meeting to gripe instead of coming through the filter of the cab. The cab filters those things, and I love the fact that Commissioner Garcia comes out here and listens to this, and our Commissioner Herman comes out here, because, you know, they're listening here, so they don't have to listen there, and they're taking back what they hear here to there when they make their votes and their decisions. And that's part of the cab that still it has a tremendous impact, and we still need to do. But the development, I'm still in favor of development being involved in the cabs. I really think that one-on-one, that personal, engagement with the public at the cab level was the best cabs we've ever had in the area. Okay, and the best information went back and forth. And we had the most influence on the planning commission and our commissioners by having those cabs in that structure. That's why they're called citizen advisory boards, not information boards, but citizen advisory boards. This is great to have the information we get out when we have a community meeting like this. But to have the real impact, we have to have something that we vote on besides minutes. We only vote on minutes in these meetings. We should be voting on a whole lot more than that. We should be able to express our feelings in our community and the things that we need that have more of an impact than just a discussion. It needs to be where we get to vote on those things after listening to our constituents and after listening to our neighbors and our friends and relatives. And we come together and we have an impact that we're ground zero, okay? This is where politics starts, okay? This is the ground game. We need to make sure the ground game stays alive so that the people have their voice and that the people that we elect know where we stand and know the things that they should be doing for their communities. That's why they come here to listen to us. I'm sure that Commissioner Garcia and Commissioner Herman, they come here because they care and because they want to know what you feel and think. But it would be better if we expanded the cab, not diminished it. That's my feeling. And that's the last of my comments. I'm done. Thank you, Mike. I want to add to this. Go for it.
I'm not adding to it. I'm letting everybody know, because we're talking about chocolate drive. February 6th, 6 o'clock in the commissioners' chambers. There's a meeting because the developers want to change the way they're going to grade the apartment,
February sixth, Thursday, what time?
6 o'clock. So they're applying to be able to change the grading of the whole thing, which is gonna change the way the water runs off. So I'm expecting to get flooded out, because I live right across the street. So anyway, if you're interested, February 6th in the Commissioners
Commissioner's Chamber.
Chambers at 6 o'clock. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a hit. I'm not sure who it's with. I will give you the exact date on the February CAB meeting, but I'm pretty sure it's a 6.
One last comment from Mark Newman. Chocolate Drive, all the rest of the developers within the community attend these meetings, talk to us, listen to our what we think should be done within our community. Chocolate Drive Apartments literally does not want to do anything with the community itself. They say, we're gonna do it our way, and if you don't like it, oh shit. That's what the whole problem with the Chocolate Drive Apartments. They are not willing to work within the community for the people of this community. They're just walking in and saying, we're gonna do it our way, and if you don't like it, well, that's it. Too bad. So sad. And that's why there's such a distaste for the Chocolate Drive Apartments. Because they do not want to listen to the people of the community and work with the people in the community. They're just gonna do it their way because that's the way it's done in Indiana.
Well, they're also very good.
Yeah.
I work as a server for the PedCore development because I don't like the development and I have voiced my opinion. And I've gotten them so upset that they turned the gas off to my house. And the only way I found out was I tried to make breakfast on the gas stove and I didn't have any gas. I had to call Sierra Pacific Power Company. My meter had been turned off. And I found out who did it. And it was associated with PedCore.
That's the development we're dealing with.
That's who we're developing or.
That's to
dealing
try and
with
come
for
into our
Chocolate
community and just say, basically, excuse the foul language, but F you. That's what they're telling the people of our community. No. They got more money, more lawyers than we have.
All right, we're gonna move that.
All
We're
right.
gonna move on before it ends up being a general discussion, but everybody has strictly board comment. We're gonna move on now. Now, if you want to voice some things on, you can't ask questions, just so you understand, especially for some people that are new. 3-minute time limit. You can't ask questions of us on the board. We're basically listening to you. You make your comments. Any other questions, any other clarifications have to be made after the meeting. So that will, so if you're gonna use your 3 minutes, use it wisely. I'm making whatever comments you have questions, you're gonna have to take it after the meeting in the back to whoever you think has the answers for you. That way we'll keep the public meeting becoming chaotic as we do this, because we might get chaotic. Now we got the chocolate. Chocolate always brings everything out for everybody in this room. So we're gonna go to the second round of public comment. You planned to do one earlier with the fire department or the sheriff. Come on up. I know you have things to do. And yes, you can do something in a minute. And Jeannie, you want to say something too? Okay, hold on.
Judy Jensen for the record, and it's Judy with an I. I don't care how you spell my last name, just give my first name. Just 2 things. One, I did want to thank Amy for all the reminders on Facebook. It really helps me. I know some people aren't there, but I appreciate the reminders. And secondly, I was at an event earlier this week where incoming Assemblywoman Heather Goulding was there speaking. And she mentioned not once, but twice, that one of her goals for this coming session is to do something about the abandoned cars in Sun Valley. I don't know how that works from a state level, but I just thought you guys would want to know that there's somebody even better than our commissioners working on the problem, if it works. Anyway, that was my comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Judy. Okay, Commissioner Herman, we're gonna let you go next since you're.
Oh, yeah. I want to ask everybody a favor. I have a little box back here on the black stand there, and I'd like to go home with it empty. So would you please take some?
Some fresh herbs, you know, we're talking some good stuff, homegrown, ground up. I'm taking some home. I just didn't want to collect it before the meeting was over. Anybody else, public comment? Oh my gosh. I did all that talking for nothing. Okay. I thought for sure you guys were gonna fire up over that, but we'll save it for the next time because we still have a fight to go. So if that's the end of it, guess what? Adjournment. Do I have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye, we're done. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Driveway is paid. Part of that, belongs to one building, part of the road belongs to people that own it.
Hold on one second. Sorry.